An absent AEW star has rejected some return plans. We've got an update on the first AEW Collision main event. A WWE Raw star is being prepared with a big future. Stay tuned for the news. You excited for Collision, Ross?
I'm intrigued. I don't know if I'm excited, but I'm intrigued.
You're intrigued. It's another night of TV.
You know when you go, it's a bit ironic when you go down the motorway and you see a car collision, and you shouldn't look, but you do anyway.
But you do, like a car crash, sort of train wreck TV.
Yeah.
Well, Fightful Select has given an update on some stars that could be involved in Collision, but Andrade was at the May 10th episode of Dynamite, and originally Andrade was set to appear in a segment similar to that of Miro and Thunder Rosa, where he'd walk into Tony Khan's office, teasing an impending announcement about AEW Collision. However, Fightful Select were told that he didn't want to do the segment, and they weren't told why. He was at the May 17th episode of Dynamite and filmed a backstage segment for social media, and he is expected to compete on the Collision brand as announced.
I can see why he wouldn't want to do that, because the tone very much is, you know, for those who do watch AEW like weekly and realise stuff that's going on, like, you know, over the last little while, these are just people who aren't being used and then go and have a meeting with the manager to seemingly complain and then get put on this new show after complaining about not being used on the shows they've got already. So I can see maybe from like a wrestler standpoint why you wouldn't want to be seen in that light. You want to be seen as like a thing that Tony Khan wants to work with, not just something that's shunted over there.
An attraction.
Yeah.
Like, because it did seem like, they're just going, oh yeah, you've got an extra 2 hours. Can I have some?
We haven't seen Miro for a year. Go on, Collision. We haven't seen Thunder Rosa in God knows how long. Go on, Collision.
Yeah, so I'm not surprised Andrade didn't really want to do that sort of segment, but Andrade is nearing an in-ring return and has been working out ahead in the ring on the May 10th episode of Dynamite, but those close to him say he's insisted he wasn't physically ready yet for an in-ring return. Things have changed as he's confirmed for a show in Mexico and was in talks for an event in Puerto Rico in June, but we haven't been told, as in Fightful Select, hasn't been told if he's planning on wrestling at the latter or simply making an appearance.
Yeah, there were rumours that Andrade got surgery in the fall to be ready for the debut of Collision, but we've confirmed that Andrade nor the rest of the AEW roster knew about Collision or the potential of it at that point, which is shocking. You would assume that big new television shows on big TV stations in America would take months and years of planning.
You would think so. You would think at least telling the roster going, right guys, we're going to have an extra 2 hours and it's going to be you're going to have to work a Saturday and you're going to have to fly to these cities. You would think that'd be something that they tell the roster about a long time ago, but apparently it seems that's not the case. Andrade going in for surgery, didn't know about the debut of Collision, but I'm excited to see what they do, how they're going to use him, and hopefully he does get presented like a big star.
I tell you what we should mention is the fact that Andrade has clearly tried to get himself fired on a couple of occasions so far in AEW. Is this the latest attempt to go, I'm not really bothered about being here.
I can't be
honest.
Might
be used better back in the WWE now that Triple H is, you know, largely pulling the strings.
It could be. I mean, we'll see, I guess, how it pans out for him on Collision. But speaking of Collision, we do have an update on the first AEW Collision main event. What's the news, Ross?
Tony Khan will be appearing on AEW Dynamite on Wednesday this week, this time to announce the first main event of the episode of Collision. We all know that CM Punk will be on the debut episode. Whilst that's been there's been reports that Punk wanting to work with Samoa Joe and Jay White, he may not factor into the first main event at all.
Whoa!
I imagine it might just be the same as the Rampage debut, just the fact that it's the thing everyone knows is going to happen, so just get out there early just to get all the intrigue.
Yeah, and as well, like, if you have him just cut a promo, we know he's going to be there. As you said, that's the intrigue. You can have another big match to make the draw happen. Samoa Joe makes sense to have as the main featured guy, Jay White as well. So maybe Samoa Joe, Jay White?
That bum-ass Jay White.
Yeah, battle royal loser. But I'm very excited. Another big announcement on Dynamite. It seems to be we're going to get one every single week.
Hopefully the big announcement isn't, I've got a big announcement to make next week like it was a couple of weeks ago. I've got a big announcement to make. I'll announce where we're going next week on the show.
I'd love it if it was every week I've got an announcement next week until it just keeps on going and keeps on going.
If you made that the in-joke and just kept that going for weeks, that would be quite funny.
It would be so good. So also on Dynamite this week, Orange Cassidy defends his AEW International Championship against Swerve Strickland, which I think this is where he's going to... I think he's going to lose the title. No. He's
going to hold it until Wembley, surely, on international soil.
Well, that makes sense. I look like an idiot now.
I mean, to be fair, if he's going to lose to anybody, Swerve Strickland is the guy, because he is this year, the total package.
He is, and it was so close in that Battle Royal. I think Swerve's going to win, but who do you think is going to win? Let us know in the comments below. But then tonight at 6 p.m, you can watch Adam on Twitch. But who else can you watch on Twitch?
The WWE Superstars.
So WWE's entered a multi-year partnership with Twitch, where we'll see the return of the official WWE Twitch channel, as well as streams from other WWE stars. Last night, WWE debuted a new sidecast on Twitch, which was essentially a watch-along
But,
to Raw.
But it was a watch along, and Tom shared a little snippet with us this morning.
Yeah.
I assume he's put it on Twitter. I've not seen, so go and have a look at his Twitter, where they've clearly got a sheet of terminology to use. So when Gunther's doing whatever he's doing last night on Raw, we haven't watched it yet. They said the lady who was on there was just like, "Wow, Gunther is operating on a different level at the moment." And then there was an awkward silence.
Very natural reactions.
There's clearly just a list of things to say during each segment, and they've just got to hit each beat when they need to.
So it's essentially extra commentary. It's commentary without Michael Cole.
Well, it's what we do, but less entertaining.
Less entertaining. So just watch us when we do it instead. From the press release, the weekly sidecast will be led by a rotating cast of hosts and will regularly feature appearances by WWE superstars and include unique and exclusive content such as backstage interviews and more. It's going to be interesting to keep an eye on. It's one that I think might not last that long.
It's got the potential to be fantastic, and as I say, that's just a tiny little snippet that Tom shared with us this morning. Like, the rest of it might have been just Drew Gulak going, "Wow, my God, this is the best thing I've ever seen," which would be entertaining for 3 hours. So yeah, it has got the potential to be good, but if it was just like, "Ooh, here is the catchphrase we use to relate to that superstar," it's gonna, I don't know.
And it'll be interesting to see if we see WWE superstars starting to stream again independently and have them come back. Obviously, we had a lot of issues over the Twitch in the past where WWE wanted to cut from them, and they weren't allowed to in some cases. We've seen Adam Cole go over AEW and then start up the
whole Saraya and Zelina Vega stuff from back in the day. Yeah.
Exactly. So on Twitch, it'll be interesting to see if WWE, holds back and sort of peels back on their getting their hands in the pie, so to speak.
They'll have the pie, but they'll give the superstar a chunk of the pie.
A small little snippet.
Hopefully it's a sizable chunk.
Nibble of the pastry. But we've got a little update on the future of one Raw star. WWE Insider Better Wrestling Experience tweeted last night that Veer is being prepared for a big future in a few years. Veer had a brief and comical run as a solo star last year, which featured months of Veer is coming. Did you enjoy the Veer is coming?
Well, no, because it wasn't a joke that was intended, was it? It just became a bit of a meme, and then they ran with it for months and months and months. It did become funny.
It did become funny, and then it sort of got to a point where it wasn't funny anymore, and then it got back to being funny.
That's what I hope to be.
Well, you want to be Veer? Veer's coming.
Yeah, just not being funny for a while.
Ross is
I'll
coming.
get back to being funny soon.
But he's since reunited with his Indus-Share tag partner Sangha and are now under guidance of Jinder Mahal on Monday Night Raw. And I'm not surprised they've got a big future plan for Veer. They obviously saw him as a solo star, a year and a half ago when those vignettes started airing. He's got a good look. He's got a good backstory.
He's got $1 million arm.
Exactly. I wish they'd lean into that more.
But I tell you what, though, I think this story's been a bit harsh on Sangha, because Sangha, in terms of promos and whatnot, he can hold his own better than Veer can, I would say. NXT loyalists out there will tell you when Veer was the spiritual man who was going to give Valentina Feroz and Luis Leon the little spiritual experience, that sort of time. He was very, very charismatic and very suave.
I'm surprised that Indus-Share didn't last longer in NXT and have like a run at the tag titles.
They had this weird little feud where injuries got in the way with the Creed, so it could have been. It's a case of what might have been. But Veer, they've got big plans for him. I hope they just don't discard Sangha, because Sangha is a big, beefy boy.
I wonder what they'll do with Veer though going forward. Because if they've got big plans for in the future, is this someone they see as a future world champion, or is this someone that they see as just a staple of the main roster? Because you never know when they've got.
He's got a long way to go if he's a world champion, in my humble
You don't want a main event in WrestleMania 40?
Do you?
Oh, not the current point.
But who knows what might happen? He might come good. We don't know.
He should be the one to beat Roman Reigns. That's the scoop right here. But that's all we've got for you just now. We've got lots of content coming out. As I said, mentioned in the video, Adam's going live at 6 p.m. on Twitch tonight. Subscribe to our Twitch. We've got lots of weekly streams, daily streams. Are you going live on Twitch this week?
Yeah, I don't know. I'll see what my schedule's like.
How we're feeling.
I did a video yesterday explaining why Solo Sikoa did turn on the Usos. There's been 3 big clues over the past 2.5 years, which I've plucked from storyline and put in a video for you to enjoy.
So go and
Please
watch that. Go and watch that.
Bye.
In the meantime, see you later.